G'day riders. I want to talk to you today about something we all deal with. We all know someone who's had a bike accident. Most of the time we know the person's walked away or had minor injuries, and other times the outcome is much worse. One of the things that's happening in my home state in Queensland at the moment is that the rate of accidents and the fatalities that are occurring in Queensland this year are much higher than usual. This year in the state of Queensland, there have been 25 motorcycle related fatalities, which is 12 above the average of the last 5 years. So there's definitely something going on. Reading a lot of articles about this over the last few weeks. There's a lot of conversation around older males coming back into riding bikes being more powerful than they were 20 or 30 years ago when people were riding. One of the reports I read today said that 90% of those fatalities on the motorcycles, the rider was determined to be at fault. There's been a call for retraining or skills training or advanced rider training to be rolled out compulsory to people returning to riding bikes. There's probably some stuff in that. I did a stay upright course. I think they were called many years ago. I got some stuff out of that, and I used to see people on the road who obviously hadn't had any of that training and some of their approaches. I got a lot out of it years ago, and I still remember it. Coming back in when I bought my bike a few years ago, would I have thought that I should do something like that? Probably not. But maybe I was wrong. Maybe it wasn't a bad move. I'd love to know what you guys think. Please leave your comments below. One of the things that they're pointing to that they believe may be a causational factor is that bikes being more powerful now than they were when some of the older people like me gave riding up years ago. Now they've come back to the passion. They're finding the bikes are more powerful, more nimble, and probably struggle to keep up with the bikes. When I rode, when I got my learners, I bought a bike. I was a country kid. I moved to Sydney. My first ride was I bought a motorcycle. I rode all over farms when I was a kid. My first on-road bike ride, where I was actually in control of the bike, I bought a bike near the Gladesville Bridge in Sydney, for anyone who knows it. I went straight on the highway and rode home. I lived out in the western suburbs then. I actually, on weekends, was riding around Rookwood Cemetery for a while, trying to get used to riding on roads. That was my introduction. So riders, maybe there is an element that people returning to riding after an extended period of time and coming back, buying bikes that are too big for them, or they're inexperienced with handling. I took it very easy when I come back in, and I was probably really aware that it had been a long time since I'd ridden, and I was quite apprehensive when I come back to riding. I was lucky I was in and still am lucky in that I live rurally. And therefore, I don't deal with a lot of traffic. I don't know if I could come back into riding, jump on the bike I bought and ride it through, central Sydney, Melbourne, some of those large, Brisbane even. I think I would think twice about doing that. I have no stats on whether these accidents are happening on country roads or whether they're happening in the central, in built up urban areas. I have no idea. And maybe there's something in that too. I'd like to know what you guys think. I'd like to know, love to hear your comments below. Really keen to understand whether you're a rider who's come back to riding after an extended period away. If you're a younger person that's just new into riding, or indeed someone my age who's ridden your entire life without a brake. And I was wondering what the different risk profiles are for those people. The main thing is, as far as I'm concerned, we all need to look after each other. We all need to be careful out there. We all need to think about how we're riding and the impacts of how we ride and that on our loved ones and our family. I love riding my bike. It's something that I do that I'm quite convinced is very good for my mental health. It gives me a break away from my fairly busy working life. I wouldn't give it up unless I really had to again, and I have to think twice about doing that. I ride in a way that I'm comfortable with. I'm old enough now that I don't feel if I'm with a group that wants to scream away that I need to stick with that group. I'm happy in the way I ride. I enjoy the way I ride. I hope you do too. Love to hear from you. Please feel free to comment. Let me know what you think.